So I started off with this image right here. We're going to use it as our foreground. So I remove the background and replace it with this image right here. Beautiful. And then I use the cloud brush to give some smoke on the background to give that hazy kind of vibe. Once I'm done with that, let's add in our skull. So the skull will be like our main focus of artwork. So let's place it right about here. And I decrease the brightness and paint in some shadow on the bottom of the skull and paint in some shadow beneath the skull as well to show that it's actually there, not floating around. And then a bit more shadow on the skull itself and made the skull a bit more darker. And I took some sample from the grass to get that color and painted some grass kind of stuffs on the skull itself to give that funky kind of look. And also painted few areas on the skull itself to show like it's actually decayed or old or kind of fungus kind of look. So once I'm done with that, I add in our mushroom and I place the mushroom right about here to make it look like it's actually coming out from the eye socket. So, and I use the warp tool to change the shape and stuff according to my wish. And then once I'm satisfied, I paint in some shadows like this and also some highlights, because if you're painting some shadows we definitely need some highlights. So let's paint in some highlights, and once I'm done with that, I paint in some highlights on the skull itself, because we're gonna have some light source coming from the left side. So after that, I used this cracked kind of PNG to show that it's actually really old, it's broken, something like that.
A few moments later.
So once I'm done with that, I add in some more mushrooms and place it right here and made it a bit more darker and also gave it a blur effect. And then I painted some shadows on the mushroom itself and add in more mushrooms and kept it behind and gave some blur and place it right about there. And I gave some light rays to our skull like this and painted some glow kind of effect behind the mushroom. I added more mushrooms and keep it right about here and use the warp tool to change the size and stuffs. So yeah, pretty much all the same. I made it look even weirder, like changing the shape. And once I'm done with that, I made it darker and painted some shadows, and I used a grass brush to paint in some grass and make it look like it's actually there, and painted some highlights on this side and here also, and a bit on the stump as well, and more mushrooms. Now it's like mushrooms everywhere. So I use the warp tool and change the shape and size, make it look weirder as possible I can, and paint in some highlights, and I paint in some grass, blur them up, and that's it. It's all done. And after this I did some color grading on Lightroom, and this is the final image. So if you guys like this video, make sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel. So see you in another video. Bye bye.